This is Maureen Heffernan's treacly cake in praise of her lovely baking that she does for the Queen of the Mod every year, except this year, 2020, no treacle cake. The Great Wall of China and the Sphinx with his lovely big smile. The pyramids built by the pharaohs, those gentlemen dying by the Nile. The Taj Mahal was constructed by Eros with gardens both glorious and grand. But all of them seem insignificant when you've treacle cake in your hand. Oh, she bakes it with Auchenish flour, oh, raisins from famed curran roux, treacle from communist Cuba, and eggs from the bold May cuckoo. The Italians have pizza and penny spaghetti and meatballs galore. Ice cream so slippy and tasty you'd find yourself lusting for more. They're known round the world for their prowess, your dormant taste buds to awake. But they're not so admired in Kinvara as Heffernan's treacle cake. The French are well known for foie gras, produced from a crucified goose, with croissants both flaky and warm and snails in their slimy green juice. Well, a frog in their throat is delicious with fino that's warmed by the fire. But when they come to Kinvara, 'tis Heffernan's cake they desire. For she bakes it with Auchenish flour, oh, raisins from famed curran roux, treacle from communist Cuba, and eggs from the bold May cuckoo. Thailanders take milk from a coconut, chilies then make it right hot. In it they drown a big catfish and stew 'em right up in the pot. He's flavoured with rice and with lemongrass, for taste 'tis not easy to top. But when they come to Kinvara, those green curries they gladly swap. Oh, she bakes it with Auchenish flour, oh, raisins from curran roux, treacle from communist Cuba, and eggs from the old May cuckoo. The Chinese eat twigs of bamboo mixed with grilled chihuahua and cat. The brains of a monkey with curry, they won't even turn down the rat. But when they come to Kinvara, those exotic tastes they forsake, for they order large helpings of custard with Heffernan's treacle cake. For she bakes it with Auchenish flour, oh, raisins from famed curran roux, treacle from communist Cuba, and eggs from the bold May cuckoo. The poor Yanks, to be gorging on doughnuts, they swallow the holes and all. Kentucky fried chickens, well roasted, and burgers exceedingly tall. They have 32 choices for ice cream, but a choice for a president is slack. Now poor Maureen's going into rendition for to feed all their troops in Iraq. Oh, she bakes it with Auchenish flour, oh, raisins from famed curran roux, treacle from communist Cuba, and eggs from the bold May cuckoo. So if you have pangs in your stomach and want for to send them away, come west to the town of Kinvara, arrive here with little delay. Pass all those bold lingeries and bistros, for McDonald's please do not make. Come try Maureen Heffernan's recipe, her world-renowned treacle cake. For she bakes it with Auchenish flour, raisins from famed curran roux, treacle from communist Cuba, and eggs from the bold May cuckoo.
Deeper, Carrie. Keep coming deeper, Ellie calls. My legs sting as I edge into the water. My swimsuit clings to me. A slow burn crept up my body, spreading numbness from my groin to my belly. Keep coming. You've got to get up to your shoulders. Once your shoulders are under, you won't feel the cold anymore, Captain encourages me. You won't feel anything, asks the German woman, whose name I can't remember. Come on in, the water feels glorious, Ellie chirps. You're all crazy, this water is freezing, it's as cold as ice. Just keep walking. Trust us, Ellie says. Trust us? course, we've all gone in, haven't we? Kathleen says. On the legendary Flaggy Shore, where Lady Gregory spent her summer holidays, and Seamus Heaney wrote his famous poem Postscript, I started a weekly ritual of swimming with the New Key Mermaids, a group of 80 or so locals, many over the age of 70, who gather daily to swim with the tides. They swim twice a day, year-round, whatever the weather. They've been spotted during storms and seen swimming in January's freezing waters. Hardly surprising, they have a reputation in the community for being eccentric. Ellie, the founder of the group, has the enthusiasm and magnetism of a cult leader because she has talked countless people into the madness of cold water swimming, and somehow, despite my better judgment, last summer I became one of them. Madness, you say? Why would you do it? I asked the mermaids the same question until I tried. It's something you just have to experience for yourself. I walk into the sea feeling pain until it crosses over into pleasure. My mind blanks striding into cold water. I can't think of anything. All the worries about my future career, the taxes we haven't done, the laundry, the dishes, the children that aren't eating right, the flashing engine light in my car, all evaporate. Only the physical sensations I'm experiencing are there. My body screams, stop! My skin stings, but I summon all my self-control to walk forward. I'm up to my waist, my breasts, my arms go under, and then my shoulders. I have to keep moving to stay warm, so I swim breaststroke wildly back and forth, kicking. And then something switches in my brain and everything slows down. And I feel this rush flooding me. I'm high as a kite, gloriously happy and stunningly alive. I have researched the phenomenon of cold water swimming and discovered that what I'm actually feeling is endorphins flooding my body. It's my central nervous system's natural response to pain. The feeling of euphoria is very similar to the effects produced by morphine, and the two primary causes for endorphin release, apparently, are pain and orgasm. So in other words, cold water swimming makes you feel really good. It's no wonder the mermaids and I are addicted. I plunge my head under the sea again, and it seems to break the spell I've been under. It's a crystal clear world below. Crabs scuttle along the sea bottom just inches from my toes. Undulating purple jellyfish float harmlessly by. Suddenly I'm revived and passionately breathing air deep into my lungs as I swim in a frenzy to keep warm. And Ellie calls the mermaids and mermen to her. They draw closer, forming a ring, holding hands, and I take the warm hands of two women on either side of me, and Ellie says, "Oh Lord, watch over everyone in this circle. Continuous harmony to all our mermaids and mermen and their families. Keep us all strong physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially." Everyone lifts their arms in the air in unison and laughs uproariously before we separate. At the end of it all, I rise out of the sea newborn. The warm touch of the sunshine on my cold skin is so pleasing. I drive home shaking with cold, rush through the door, and climb into a hot shower, letting it pulse on the hottest setting to thaw me out. Even under this extreme heat, I don't feel warm, but I'm aware of every inch of my skin. My body has come back to life. My husband and boys are snuggling under the covers, watching cartoons on his phone. I climb back into bed, blissfully hugging the children's small bodies, trying to warm up with their body heat. Later, I go downstairs, flip pancakes and pour hot tea, my body still trembling from this new ritual that has at last encompassed me in a profound and simple happiness that has somehow eluded me for the rest of the week.
I was born on a blue day, while father sat with an ash rod astride the sea, thinking of a sunflower harvest as the season's first surge of mackerel thrashed after whitebait. My memory is like an accretion of cobalt grains, a ball seized in my head and bowled along blue tarmac. rolled to shore, washed out in the sea-curled surf. A leaded weight cast back in my father's eye, blinding him with the truth about himself and me. We are brothers, I realize that now. Blue-eyed gardeners, archaeologists of the air, accordionists of water. I trust him and trust him as a guide. Now that he is dead, he remembers my life. He arrives, and I await him. He hovers over me and remembers being born on a blue day, a mackerel sky. His father playing sweetly to a distant woman, leaning through a blue window, dreaming a life to fill a space. He kneels, my father's father. I kneel and pool a palmful of mirroring water, casting my image home to the sea, my music to a spell of time.
I play a little tune called Sé Fáma Mhúrtha. It's the reason for my sorrow. And it's from the Gaelic Shanno song, Sé Fáma Mhúrtha nach Bhain Ceart Cuairte, San Glountán even in the Will McGraw. It's the reason for my sorrow that I'm not allowed to go into the glen where my true love lives. And the song talks about the lovely things in the glen, especially the woman he's in love with. But for whatever reason in the song, we know that he's not allowed. Another song of unrequited love, the best sort.
on course. A lost clock in the distance calling me, announcing the hour in song, naming the flowers one by one, a thrilling urge inching me along. The beginning of a flower is like the beginning of a song. Struck open as the minutes tick, singing from the topmost bough, the continuous cuckoo calls, living in a world without any walls, revving up the engine of morning, a long, lone love song, a wish for a baby at a holy well, waking to dawn's hypnotic spell. First cuckoo, first gentian, the blackthorn blooms, the whitethorn follows, a wedding of white flowers, a sky dense with swallows. Everything that shuts in you opens with birdsong and light. A pair of wings, a wish, the hinges of flowers. He arrived the way all newborns come, on wishes, love songs, and sunrise. The clock face in the flower, tick-tock of the hour, the gentian's five-pointed startling blue star. Soft morning troubadours, early risers prize. Memories like a trip line, tick-tock of a cuckoo clock. Minutes past, it's finally springtime. The beginning of light, dawn's bird chorus, sound before sight.
I've walked the flaggy shore 1,000 times, 10,000 times. Infinitesimally eroding fossilized crustaceans, clusters of calcified weed, delicate evidences locked in time. I lick the salt stone and whisper to its eerie space, words it will carry more or less as it carries the memory of waves, imperturbably. I release my words and touch. A stone releases the soft, memoried lives of mollusks and winkles. Millions of generations fluent in this rock, in its inanimate memory. Does space hold such companionable eternities? And will we find there is a time in space, and space in time, replete in memory of what was and is? I've walked the flaggy shore 1,000 times, 10,000 times. Infinitesimally eroding fossilized crustaceans, clusters of calcified weed, delicate evidences locked in time. I lick the salt stone and whisper to its eerie space, words it will carry more or less as it carries the memory of waves, imperturbably. I release my words and touch. The stone releases the soft, memoried lives of mollusks and winkles. Millions of generations fluent in this rock, in its inanimate memory. Does space hold such companionable eternities? And will we find there is a time in space in time, replete in memory of what was and is?
Okay, I'll sing a song called The West of Ireland Bachelor. And the way the song came about was I met Willie Daly, the matchmaker, and he told me that he met a man that wanted to go into his book to be matched up with a woman, for people who don't know what happens. And he said that he thought the man smelled so badly he'd have to tell him to clean up his act. So he said to the guy, John, he said, if you want to get a woman, he says, you're going to have to do something about your personal hygiene. And John replied very quickly, he said, but he said, I have a slate roof. And for people who don't know, what he meant was that in the olden days in the thatch, there was often the little drop coming through the thatch. They used to call it the brain and nose. And he was so proud of the fact that he'd no brain and nose that he didn't see there was any sense in washing himself to attract the woman. He'd be so attractive with slates. And he gave me a word for a song, and I built the song around that phrase, and also the fact that there is a revolution happened in the dating scene with the advent of the digital revolution. So this is it. I'm a West of Ireland bachelor, I've slates on my roof and I'm up for car. A satellite dish and my hair is strong, but I'm feeling kind of frisky. I'm going searching for a perfect wife to help me through this mortal strife, to cook and clean and shine my shoes, and she'll keep me kneecaps warm. She'll drive me here, she'll drive me there, she'll wash my clothes, she'll comb my hair, make butterfly cakes and barmy brats, and she'll always be in form. The out Clare matchmakers were no good, so I went to knock, and they said they could find a lass in Ballinrobe that fitted my dimensions. Oh, a true goddess, and mighty cute, she even tried to play the flute, but she wouldn't wash and she couldn't cook, that created awful tensions. Oh, a friend of mine, he said to me, why don't you get the old PC? For emails and the internet you'll find a spouse quite easy. There's Collins there in Singapore, oh, Mullingar and Doranmore, Moscow in the Philippines, and there's even some from Kerry. Large and small and thin and tall, oh, beauteous both one and all. Yellow, brown and black and white, and there's even some that's navy. There's Collins there, I do declare, with shining lips and lustrous hair, with middles just like fiddles, and with manners mild and charming. Well, I soon went surfing on the net to try to find my perfect pet, and I found a site in Google like the Ritz in Lisdoonvarna. There was a girl appealed to me, she came from far off Timbuktu, but our medical statistics, well, I found them quite confusing. I squeezed my mouse on her address, my heart went thumping in my chest, and I asked her would she spend a while with me in the west of Ireland. Her reply came quick, "Begod," said she, "I'd love to see the sea to sea. I'll leave today and be with you tomorrow by the ocean." Well, she's with me now 3 years or so, and I'd never like to see her go. For cooking and for cleaning, sure you'd never find her equal. So, listen now, take my advice. Just click your mouse to get a wife. Forget the priests in Mayo and the priests at Lisdoonvarna. Forget Ireland's own and holy wells, oh, widows' bells and the buy and sell. Give your mouse a squeeze without delay for matrimonial contentment.
Famine Whisper. Ruins speak louder these days, whispers of times lost. The famine feels closer, almost palpable. I understand now. All those ruins were once homes, filled with families just like mine. We meet no one on the road today. Everyone is keeping their safe distances, staying in their orbits, a 2-kilometer radius from their doors. Echoes of famine and loss reverberate like a silent bell hanging in a broken bell tower. I stand in an empty graveyard at Corcomroe Abbey. Only the crows nest here now. Ghosts of the past teach us how to live today.
When the light of this new moon moles over the battlements of Lemina Castle, allow me to kneel under your magnificent thighs, Morarua, and with razored teeth clip the thick hairs on your shins, food rich enough to fill my belly for a year. Allow no more English fornicators to lap your nipple milk or smooch their swill tongues on your meaty lobes. We'll foray again like you did with Conor O'Brien in the 40s, and relieve invested settlers like Gregory Hickman of Barntick of everything they own. Hogs, griddles, sheep, bales of wool, sides of beef, running fowl, geese, and all their lands. We'll ride the spirit trails of North Clare from the great cairn at Powlahwack, through Gleninsheen and on to Cahermore, turning our horseshoes backwards to confuse the end. I want to love you, Morarua, daughter of Turlough Rome MacMahon, late of Clondar Law. I want to come to you in the great regal room at Lemina, where your host of ravens perch above you in a circle. I want to plunge my hands under samite silk and crepe petticoats, bells sweeping from your waist, and hold your opulent body, naked but for the pendant dolphin swimming in your breast inlet. I want to reek of your succulence and not relent until you have managed yourself over my love. I tell you now, I understand your just hatreds. When Ludlow and his men killed Connor at Inchicronan in 51, you did what you had to preserve your lands intact. Majestic tactician that you were, you took Cooper the Cromwelling into your bed, bore him a menial species, and when a safe time had elapsed, kicked his encumbering body from the battlements. Oh, let me kneel, Morarua, under your magnificent thighs, and milk your spirit like the miraculous cow at Lascivna, for the good of your people. By the heat of the great fire, let me uncurl rich ferns from the bowls of your armpits, and feed on luscious winged insects ancestral in your blood. Let me organize my tongue in the geometry of your solacing wound, and love the russet body of a Clare woman who did not cower or tremble when those Cromwellian butchers, Stace and Apers, destroyed our Burren tribes and spent themselves in the dead bodies of valiant women in the townlands of Teesca and Kilnaboy. You have flushed the bad seed of Cooper from your bowels and laid to rest the baby he kindled in you. Come with me, Mora, onto the battlements of Lemina Castle. Let me pressure forever the scope of my love. Let us retain between us the rigid instincts of our people.